You ever hear silence so deep? It feels like time itself stopped breathing? Let me take you back to the year 1945, when the world was changing, bombs falling in faraway lands, radios buzzing with war updates, and families praying at their dinner tables for letters that might never come. But in our small town, tucked between a railroad track and a maple grove, the silence didn't come with warning. It fell like a blanket. No wind, no birds, no voices, just stillness. And that's when we knew something was different. Now you gotta understand, in 1945, the world was loud. The war wasn't just a headline, it was in every home. Men marched, women worked, children watched. We heard the world through crackly radios, saw it in the faces of mothers clutching telegrams. And even though we were a small town, miles from any battlefield, we felt every boom of that war in our bones. It was early August. I remember because it was my 12th birthday. I woke to the usual sound, my father chopping wood outside, the rooster crowing, and the church bell ringing 7 times. But that morning, nothing. No rooster, no bell, no sound of the baker setting out bread. Even the dog didn't bark. I peeked out the window, and the strangest thing was everyone was standing still, frozen, as if waiting for a sound that never came. At the breakfast table, my mother whispered, "Did you hear the radio this morning?" My father shook his head. It was just static. Rumors started to fly. Maybe the war had ended. Maybe something worse had happened. People walked slowly, in disbelief, past the grocery store, the train station, the post office. No mail, no deliveries, just locked doors and drawn curtains. It wasn't just silence. It was the absence of the world we knew. Later that afternoon, the silence was broken not by a person, but by a truck that drove into town, covered in dust and flags. It stopped in front of the town hall, and a man stepped out holding a newspaper. His voice trembled. "Hiroshima has been bombed. Japan may surrender. The war might be over." And just like that, the silence made sense. Not relief, not celebration. Just a stunned, aching pause, like the earth holding its breath. Some cried. Others stood still. My teacher, Mr. Laney, sat on the curb and took off his glasses. He said, "We may have just witnessed the end of the world or the beginning of another." Nobody cheered, nobody danced, because deep down, we all felt it. Victory didn't taste sweet when it came at such a price. In the days after, the silence lingered. No parades, no music, no celebration. Instead, we saw pictures, photographs from Japan, burned buildings, children, shadows etched into concrete. It was hard to celebrate peace when we saw what it had cost. That week, every church was full, not with joy, but with prayers. That summer changed me. I stopped pretending war was something far away. I realized adults don't always have the answers, and I learned that silence can speak louder than sirens. Years later, I asked my father why he didn't celebrate that day. He said, "Because, son, peace is more than the absence of war. It's the presence of humanity." I never forgot that. To those of you listening now, especially the young ones, remember this. History isn't just dates in a book. It's the echo of choices we all make. The day the town went silent wasn't about bombs or treaties. It was about a town learning how to grieve and how to hope again. Don't wait for silence to teach you what noise never could. If you're lucky enough to hear stories from someone older, listen. Not just with your ears, but with your heart. And when the world gets loud again, as it always does, never forget the power of quiet truth. Because sometimes, it's the silence that says the most.